We are recording now.
There we go.
We are live in studio.
Yeah. I mean, it's not live. I don't want anyone out there to think that when you watch the Overland Bonfire podcast that like Tiny Matt and Tiny Rick is living in your computer.
Right. Yeah.
That those kind of delusions lead down dangerous roads. Hey, so welcome back to another episode of Overland Bonfire, the first episode of 2024. As always, brought to you by the fine folks, the best you can find, the best in the business at Blue Ridge Overland Gear. We love those guys. They let us use their studio.
And all their equipment
hosted on their YouTube channel.
Right.
Yeah. It's almost like we both work there and one of us owns the place.
Very close.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Make sure one of the things that we need to remind people to do is like rate the podcast or leave us as something. There's something you're supposed to do there.
So if you're
supposed to be beneficial to the podcast
on Spotify,
Spotify.
please rate it, review it. That helps us out a lot. If you're on Instagram, as always, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Hope everyone had a good New Year, all the holidays prior to that. A couple things we're going to talk about on the show today. One is where 2024 is going to take Blue Ridge. We got some cool stuff coming out.
Yeah, I can't. My shirt feels all jacked up. I never see myself on TV. I'm like, why is my other collar missing? And it's on the wrong side. Okay, I got it. Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. All right. Fit check. And then, we're going to talk about some things coming up in 2024, products, some events, some stuff like that. We're going to talk about, we just did a trip with some of our beloved adventure pros, and I use this term loosely, but our brand ambassadors.
Very loose, very loose.
Yeah, because we feel like it's a different type of relationship.
That's for sure.
And then I'm using, also this podcast is slightly brought to you by Delta Airlines, because these are some free headphones from a flight sometime last year that I keep in my desk, because Matt took the other set of those home. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Okay, because it sounds like hot garbage through these, but I just wanted to check. Yeah.
I forgot I took the camera home. I forgot to bring it in this morning. I had to go back. Then I left the headphones.
We've had more prep than the length of this episode.
No, 100%. It's taken us longer to get to this stage than it's going to take us to record and do everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've not had enough coffee yet. So, I've not had any coffee yet, actually. So this could go sideways in a real hurry.
Well, let's start off then with maybe the Adventure Pro, the Brog Tour, the trip, and then that'll give you a minute to kind of warm up, literally, because it's about 40 degrees in the studio.
Can we get that one?
Yeah, a little Eden Pure heater over here, giving it all it's worth. And by that I mean 1 degree.
Maybe. I don't.
So hey, yeah, right before New Year's Eve, we got out on some kind of local trails, not like the stuff here right by the shop, but in the Blue Ridge with some of our adventure pros. We had I think we had 9 trucks, 13 people. A couple people brought their kids, and one couple was in that. But we had a good time. We did about 120 miles of gravel, dirt, a little bit more 2-tracky forest road. Had a great wild camp. I'm trying to think. Near the Lynchburg Reservoir, probably the best way to describe that.
I missed the whole thing. So
yeah, Matt was doing family stuff.
I had family stuff that I was obligated to. So
your presence was missed and requested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh Carter woke up in a cold sweat, like, "Where's Matt?" Like a nightmare.
I can tell you there might have been a time or two I was wishing I was there. So.
Yeah. But we had a good trip. We've got a quick recap on Instagram and YouTube about that trip that you can take a look at. But the idea was being more, we greatly appreciate and respect the opinion of these folks. They use our gear. They put time in on the trail and in their rigs.
Get a lot of time out.
Yeah. So we wanted to see what they thought about some of these new things coming up. They have got very well put together rigs. It was.
Yeah. Some of them have beautiful.
Yeah. Just equipment. Like they're just cooking, and I was able to get footage and it highlighted like 4 or 5 of our products.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That kind of thing. And then we added a couple new folks to the group, but and then also it was kind of an end of year appreciation. We spent our last night of the trip up at Devil's Backbone.
Yeah.
Which I think is like Wintergreen, Livingston.
Yeah.
I don't know that area of Virginia. Yeah. and they got a really nice campground, folks. I want to give them props. This is kind of their off season. They still worked with us. We had like 5 campsites down one row of their campground. We were the only people on that side. Kind of allowed us to do our own thing. Had dinner at the restaurant. It was really good. It was kind of a cool way to end the trip because it was pretty chilly. Like it was 21 that night.
Yeah.
So after having everybody camped here Thursday night, all day in the Friday night, all day Saturday when it was actually pretty dang chilly. We ran into some snow. It was nice to have a warm dinner before we headed back to the trucks. Yeah, it's a good time. On that note, we're going to do those again, making that maybe like quarterly with some of our adventure pros. We may have some more like open call trips. They will definitely be limited spots. I will say, we had a good time last New Year's when we did it from the shop. Yeah, but we had like 18 trucks, and this was a lot easier to manage.
yeah, for sure. I mean that's a. Yeah, it's tough to manage 20 rides.
Yeah, I know for sure.
And going someplace,
especially because we were trying to get footage and things like that, and it's bear hunting season, and so we ran into some bear hunters. It's much easier to pass with a convoy that size.
Yeah, bear hunters are never proud of you when you're not bear hunting and you're taking up their road.
I will say everybody was pretty chill. And I'm nothing against this guy. Honestly, I was more impressed. But there was one dude in like a 99 pickup, like pre-2000. It was that body style.
Toyota.
Yeah, we saw. Yeah.
Because all bear hunters, right? It's a requirement that you have an aluminum box and an old Toyota pickup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kit you get when you get your first bear dog.
I think it just comes with
bear dog. It just comes with it.
Yeah. He though, I was in the front of the convoy. We were, truck up. Most people were either pulling over to let us pass, or they would kind of ease up, and we would try to get out of the road. 6-1, half doesn't matter to me. This dude just put the passenger side in the ditch and kept on trucking. Honestly, at speeds that seemed mildly unsafe, with all 4 tires on the forest road,
let alone
2 in the ditch. I mean, like at first I thought he was just really motivated to get out of the road, and then in a moment after that, it was boom. And he just, in my rearview mirror, just got smaller before anybody could react. We're all like, oh.
He's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, that was the easiest pass we've hauled today because we didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard to, I know people sometimes get frustrated with the bear hunters and whatever. And whatever your stance is on the hunting part is one thing, but the reality is they actually are the ones who pay to keep the roads open.
Yeah, that money. Yeah.
Because they're actually paying that through licenses and through the Department of Natural Resources. So they're actually the ones that actually cut the check.
Yeah.
And I think people miss that. People get frustrated sometimes with a lot of the public land and things like that. Like that's like the only, and not just bear hunters, but hunters in general. That's the only voluntary tax. Mm-hmm. Like where the people basically said, yeah, fine, tax us. We want to be part of the conservation, and we want to, and like I said, whether you're against hunting or not, it is
now.
It's kind of like logging roads in the North Woods, right? Yeah. Like the loggers really do own those roads, and the bear hunters and the during hunting season, they're actually the ones that pay to keep those roads open. And I think that's important for
not national forests, but back in Tennessee, in some of the like WMAs.
And I'm not a bear hunter that's never been a something I've had a whole lot of interest in.
Yeah.
So this isn't coming from a bear hunter. This is I don't own an old Toyota pickup with a dog box. Well, I own a few dog boxes, but not
and you got a lot of dogs, but none of that variety.
Yeah, none that hunt.
But in some of the WMAs in Tennessee and some other spots like Kentucky, I can think of one. If you don't have a hunting license, you got to have like a off-highway use or permit or something like that.
So you're actually contributing to the cause there. No, I mean I don't know that that's a horrible idea. I mean I'm like I said, I do think it's interesting. People forget that a lot of the public land stuff that you see and the maintenance that's done is actually done because of the revenue brought in by hunting licenses and stuff like that. And it was a volunteer tax that I think most people forget.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, it was a good trip.
And shout out to Bear Grease for reminding me of that the other day. A few months ago, I was listening. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's hard." I don't think about that, but that's absolutely true. Anyway, I think that's who.
Pay to keep it open.
Yeah, that's who brought some of that to light for me, or reminded me that's how a lot of that stuff happened.
And we are all about some good media and sharing the audience here. So speaking of Bear Grease, that their new book, their audiobook about American Whitetail comes out I think it's in 4 days.
Yeah.
I think
so if you want to listen to a better podcast,
yeah.
Reese really, their budget's much higher than ours.
I don't know if I'd say much.
I don't know. It's pretty good. I like the Bear Grease podcast.
I was under the impression that everything in the Blue Ridge building was just to support this.
Yeah, that's what it is. Everything. That's what we do here. It's just supporting the podcast. I'm losing my headphones here.
But they've got a new book coming out about the American whitetail. And again, even if you're not a hunter, if it's anything like the last book that Steve Rinella had anything to do with in this vein, which was all about the American bison, there's hunting in it, yes, but it's
it's history of. I mean, all of the stuff he does is very, very very history based. It's really good.
I'm saving it. I've got about a 10-hour solo trip coming up here at the end of the month, and I'm going to download it and not listen to it until I can just hopefully hammer through the majority of it on the trip. So.
I like I said, most of his stuff I save a lot of his podcast series for stuff like that when I'm going on trips where, I'm going to get the history of the Mississippi River, or the history of the Plot Hound or Davy Crockett.
This one's apparently has got a lot of Boone.
Early
fur trade. Or the whitetail fur trade.
Yep.
So that's how we wrapped up 2023. And this links into our what to expect from Brog upcoming year, our plans in a few ways. Because one, we're gonna do some more events like that.
We need to become better planners.
Yeah. I used to do it for a living.
I'm really a horrible planner. Anyway, sorry.
But we're going to do some more trips.
We're planning better this year. That's the rumor I hear.
Yeah, we're going to have some training opportunities here at the shop. Got a loose date with Overland Medic, Rodney. Kind of a game plan. We're going to narrow that down now that we're in 2024 and get that out there. That will be a legit come get some medical training so you got a first aid kit, you know how to use it.
Yeah.
And then
Rodney's a planner, so he's been planning these. He's been planning this for 10 months.
Yeah.
And we were like, call us at the beginning of the year.
If
you're going to do it in February, if you could call us in January. If you could do it in February, call us in January. We'll figure it out.
But you still got a few months. We're thinking April because it'll be outdoors. It'll be...
Look at this. We're planning ahead already.
Yeah.
Way ahead of schedule.
It was requested this weekend, and we may pilot this with kind of the Adventure Pros. That way, if it goes totally off the rails, there's nobody that I feel too bad about. But one of the nights when we had our fire... they were like, hey, Rick, are you going to rub two sticks together? It's like, no, but I will do it with flint and steel. And then immediately we're like, oh, you got to teach us how to do that. So we may have a survival for overlanders. If you...
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
The rubbing two sticks together, is totally ineffective in the East, right?
I mean, you can do it, but my perspective has always been that, A, you can literally keep things on you 24/7. That's easier than that.
Yeah.
And B, much respect to any of the friction fire guys, bow drill, hand drill.
Right, yeah.
But the times of the year where I really want to fire, it's going to be a whole lot of work to find all those components,
Right.
Whereas if I have a knife and a flint, and honestly, we had the discussion of how with flint and steel is arguably better than ferro rod in really damp conditions. It rained 2 days before this trip. We were camping within spitting distance of a creek, so it was very damp. And somebody's like, oh, are you going to use your ferro rod? I was like, no, because those sparks have got to find a place to live to, become a flame. I cracked out a little tin with, some charred material, a piece of actual flint rock, and a still. And that's a much hotter ember, to start with.
Ember, it lasts longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to hit and ignite right away. But I thought like most of the friction fire, I didn't even know the name of it. Friction fire people.
Yeah.
That's I'm learning shit all the time. The friction fire people out west, that's way more effective.
Right. Yeah. Your relative humidity is astronomical.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. The impact of the humidity is a huge issue.
And I'm not gonna say that there's not people that can't just literally be like, hey, Patrick Essie, one of the lead trainer down there, you could probably look him dead in the eye and go, hey, Patrick, go find all the parts for a bow drill. And he would go and find the wood that he needed. He would pull out his knife, carve the board, carve the spindle, pull a shoelace off for the bow, and he would do it. But you know, like from a more prehistoric perspective, like once you had a good set, you're going to probably carry that around with you, you know, and much like we would be equipped. It's not like, you know, you had a guy hundreds of years ago that's going to be like, need to start a fire, and he just reaches up, snaps off a dried limb, and you know,
starts doing something.
But yeah, so Flint and Steel, going back to see, this is all very well planned. Daniel Boone, the new Whitetail book, that's technology they've been using, you know,
for a million years.
Yeah, you just have a hard piece of steel and a piece of rock that throws sparks.
So. Hard piece of steel and a piece of rock, and bam, fire.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like that. Minus one or two steps. And some failure. Yeah, we're may have a class like that. And then the other part of this trip was we took some gear that's going to be released soon. One thing, like when we say soon, our long-standing listeners were probably like, yeah, okay, whatever. No. Like one of the things on the trip, we had a pretty condensed session one night in camp about, hey, here it is. What do you all think about it? Because we want to get it out there soon. And then it kind of leans into a vein of some new products. So Matt, tell us a little bit about, like, I don't know, I won't say Q1, but Q1.5 of your plan for this year with some new products and stuff.
Well, I hope it's our plan, not just mine. But biggest thing is more I think more carry oriented stuff. You're gonna see, we've got a duffel bag coming. You know, duffel bag backpack fits in a Nanook or Pelican case. Yeah. Very, very travel.
I guess we actually debuted that at a rooftop tent rally. There was one kind of just
floating around,
on
just
display,
kind of sitting there. So that was sort of Gen 1 prototype, and this weekend kind of came the Gen 2 or 3, I guess.
Yeah,
and we feel like we've got that pretty wrapped up. So hoping to see that come out January timeframe, probably end of January. I'm guessing. I think is what I actually.
It'll be a pre-order, right?
It'll run pre-order in January. Yeah, and then it'll deliver first week or two in February.
Yeah.
So then Got to Go bag coming back,
which is how long has it been vacant from the lineup?
2 years, maybe 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a long time.
We're coming up on 2 years here, and I feel like it.
Oh yeah, no, it was that long for that. So it's been 3 or 4 years since we have had the Got to Go bag. It's a bag that we made very, very limited amounts of when we built it. Sort of excited about the X-Pack project, and that's where this duffel bag came from. We've been able to add some stuff to it. Because of the X-Pack, we've been able to do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of given us a few pieces that it's given us the ability to design some things that we couldn't add into stuff because of material weights, thicknesses, and wear and that kind of thing. And X-Pack, I think, has kind of solved a few of those things.
And at least for me, after having a full weekend with that duffel, I packed almost everything in it, minus like cooking gear. One thing that I found I really love, because man, I hate like a floppy duffel bag, even if it's tarp material or it's Cordura.
Sure.
And if there's nothing in it, collapses. Like I was looking at this thing when I got home, and I had pulled my sleeping bag out. I pulled all my clothes out, some other things, and it still just stands up like a box. And I love that. Like that it's structured, but it doesn't weigh 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's the key. Everything we've built that we've liked has been either really hard to get through machines, or has lost structure, or just we couldn't fit some of the features in we wanted to.
Yeah.
And this, like I said, gives us the ability to do that. I think we're kind of heading down the path with the Got to Go bag like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that, because I mean, I've got a Gen 1. I think I have the very first Coyote one that you made, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe. Yeah,
because I think you did black and gray, and I was like, man, I really want this in brown.
Yeah, no, it was black and then Coyote.
Yeah.
And we didn't do grays for sorry, people. We didn't do grays actually for a while, but it was started out black and Coyote. Black was everything in black.
Henry Fording it.
Yeah, totally Henry Fording it. Whatever color you want, as long as it's black. So we started out with black, went to Coyote, and then added some gray. Probably not gonna do gray, but we are gonna do some other colors.
Yeah. And if you want to take a look at like some of the X-Pack stuff, the XL bum bag, which is we had I don't know, maybe I don't call it a soft launch, but we had a limited number available before the holidays. That was some of the new colors we're working with.
Yeah. So the duffel bag's coming out, some different colors, going to be an X-Pack, going to be in some traditional colors as we go. So we're kind of excited about that. Got to Go bag.
Yeah. It works really well with both sizes of our packing cubes, 10x10s, or the 12x12s.
Yep.
We'll do a video on kind of like if you use these, this is kind of a way you could pack it.
We've hit some new packing cube stuff, some new like packing organizational stuff coming out.
Yeah.
That we've been playing with. We got a new EDC, kind of an overgrown EDC pouch, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that that'll be as exciting for everybody else as it is for me, because I've been using it for probably 4 months and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
That's a piece of equipment that I've really gotten a lot of use out of.
See, I've been going that way with the XL bum bag, because I use the bum bag obviously as kind of like an EDC organizer. Then when the EDC organizer pouch came out, I went full in, kind of like the OG bum bag got pushed to the side. But the one thing I really like about the XL bum bag is it is exactly the width of the interior of my daily pack.
Okay.
So it just lives kind of at the bottom with the strap wrapped around it, and then I can pull it out and wear it, or just like it's just there,
Yeah.
So
I carry a lot of miscellaneous stuff. So I think I keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing I know, it's going to be a backpack, but or the backpack's going to be my organizer. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's going to be handy. It's like I said, it's been handy for me. I don't know whether anybody else will get into that, but we're going to release it and find out.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, I'm going to have a few of them for myself, because it's a piece of kit that I've really grown fond of, especially with all the miscellaneous small accessories we've built. And we did this all a little bit backwards, probably, in that we built a bunch of the organizational pieces and parts to go inside of stuff that we needed or we wanted to do different things. And then we've been building bags around that as we've been putting stuff together, or pouches around that as we've been putting stuff together. So that's been really slick to be able to say, oh, geez, I want to be able to kit this kind of stuff or that kind of thing, and be able to fit it into things. Has been, I mean, honestly, a lot of fun for me. I've been really enjoying that. And then, so Got to Go bag, full size Got to Go bag is going to come out pre-summer, before June, I think is what it's on the calendar for. We've got a transit bag, which is the small version of the Got to Go bag that's on the dock for, again, pre-summer.
Which, in terms of short-lived broad products, like the OG transit was like a blink in the the ether of the universe.
We made maybe 30.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 total. And I love that bag. We just had material sourcing issues for what we wanted to do with it. Yeah. Whatever. I think, again, with the X-Pack and some of the other new fabrics that have been out in the last couple of years, it gives us the ability to bring that back and still have it kind of do what we want and function the way we want it to, and us be able to put it together, which is the other thing is it's some of the materials get a little tough to work with when you start stacking 3 and 4 of them together into a seam.
And we've talked about this in some videos and some product descriptions, but that's where the X-Pack really shines, because it's just as strong. It arguably has, I mean, like we said before, once you put a hole in it with a needle, the whole water resistance thing is a different discussion. Right. But in and of itself, it has some amazing water resistance, and probably the wet out, as in saturation is
way better,
like non-existent.
Right. It doesn't wet out. Its abrasion resistance is really high because it's a laminated fabric. It cuts on the laser really well. Which means we can do a lot more with it. A lot more accurately. It's opened up, I think, a lot of fun stuff for us. And the market tote. Market tote, which is, if you've got our tote bag, we're going to be coming out with a market tote, which will be kind of a fun project, I think. I think that's been Brandy's, that's going to be Brandy's brainchild at the end of the day, Rick's lovely wife.
A bit more like you can go get groceries with our tote bag, but it would hold a lot of, that's the, I'm making one trip in the house. The market tote will be a bit more of a daily bag, grab a few things, and probably a bit more, I don't know, it can transform into like a daily carry bag a little bit better than the tote, which would be a lot. You're carrying a lot of stuff if you're carrying the tote every day.
Yeah, we got a slick shoulder strap we're working on. A shoulder strap that's going to cross pollinate. It'll go backwards and work with tool bags and gadget bags and stuff like that. The tote bag. So basically, you have a decent shoulder strap for the tote bag. It'll work on the market bag. It's going to work on the new duffel bag.
Yeah.
A bunch of things like that. And when the duffel bag's got backpack straps that you can add onto it. I think there's a lot of slick stuff coming from the carry sort of daily use side this year. And we've got some Go Fast We've got some Go Fast pieces coming. Some
yeah.
For that we've.
That one's been cooking for a while.
That one's been cooking for about 6 months, and we haven't really, maybe more than that, probably 7 months. We haven't really had the time to kind of put that together. And I feel like we're at a place where we've got things nailed down, and we've got patterns pretty good, and we've got a way to proof patterns on different sizes.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some Go Fast panels coming out.
Which is, if not to like, we can decide later if we want to edit this out. But essentially, it'd be a way that you could like have some organization in your Go Fast camper or your Go Fast topper, because I know they make like a camper shell now.
Yep.
That's accessible from the interior or the exterior of the camper. And we had a guy kind of reach out and ask us about it. And we're like, oh, that actually is really intriguing. So he came here, camped at the shop 2 nights, and we just built it around his truck.
We built it in his truck. Yeah. So yeah, it basically has storage functional. The ability to use both sides of the panel as functional storage.
Yeah.
So inside the camper and out. So I mean, I think that's kind of fun. I mean, I think that'll be slick. I'm not sure when we'll release that, but that's
probably this decade.
Yeah. This year. I think we'll get it out this year.
Okay, fine. If you really want to like put us in a hole.
Yeah. I really want to.
360 days.
Yeah. So anyway, I think there's a lot of fun stuff coming this year. We're pretty excited because last year's we've had some new stuff that's done pretty well. And I think, like I said, upgraded fabrics and things like that have put us in a position where we can do a lot of stuff that we haven't felt good about, where we've made one-offs or we've made ones or twos of kind of playing with them, and we're like, man, this is really hard to do, and it's going to really be hard to put in production. And so now we're in a position where we can actually go out and build that and feel good about what we built.
Yeah, exciting year. Event-wise, rooftop tent rally, that'll be sometime around the middle of October.
That's the plan still, yeah.
Yeah, barring disaster. We will be at the Moore Expo in Springfield, end of March.
I don't even know. I should probably put that on.
Yeah.
That's something that I probably need to be adding right now.
I know it's somewhere in the mid to end of March. We had a good time at that event last year. We had some folks, Bobby Anderson, pop out of nowhere. And
right. Bobby pops out of nowhere all the time, though. Like I'm always like.
I guess I just didn't expect to see our East Coast crew because he's more East Coast than us.
Right. 100%.
There. And just, saw people we knew from IG, but it was just like, I didn't expect to see a guy that like swings by the shop. So, hey, if you're going to be at the Moore Expo in Springfield,
stop by.
Yes, come see us. We're in the event hall that's to the
left if you're facing it, I guess.
Yeah. And we're got our same booth spot from last year. And they made that super easy to kind of just like.
It was a really good, it was a good event. I mean, we got to talk to a lot of people. Camping was pretty easy.
Yeah.
That was an enjoyable project.
Yeah, so we'll be back out there, and we actually just had a thought last night. If you want to know, like, planning wise, Matt and I were working on another project. I called to let him know it was uploaded, and then was like, hey, while I was in the truck, I had this thought. Maybe doing something kind of cool with our Overland Flea Market. That's just a little teaser. We gotta confirm some stuff, but the Overland Flea Market may have a evolution.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we've got some ideas that I think are good that hopefully we'll be able to execute against. So it should be exciting.
Yeah, don't know if it's gonna happen this year. I do want to get up to the LT Wright Pout House event sometime.
I went a few years ago and it was a great event, and I really need to go back to that. That was a good event.
Is that in April? I think it's in April.
I don't remember. I've had scheduling conflicts most of the rest of the time, but the 1 year I didn't. I was able to I came up a little bit late, I think, but was able to get there and hang out for a night or two. And
because I think last year was the first year they had done it for a couple of years.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, but may try to swing that this year. We'll see. Georgia Bushcraft in the fall. If y'all can't tell, I've been looking at the calendar for like the year. That'll be in November. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I need to get my calendar looked at for the year because that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. We got to figure out May.
Yeah.
The thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing.
That was cryptic, right? I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if we have some really far-flung listeners, I could say come see us. I don't know if anybody listens to us there.
Where?
For the May trip.
I don't know. Go ahead.
The Viking Trail thing?
Yeah.
So, I don't know actually how many listeners know. We do some work with Arctic Trucks in Norway. Awesome shop. They build some wild rigs. living up to their name. Balloon tires, like Balloon 40s stuff.
Yeah.
We've got an opportunity, I don't know, a chance, a reason to go to Norway. And so instead of just the people that need to go,
a really light reason, but we're gonna take it as a
there's a reason for like 2 people in our circle to go. It's probably going to be more like 6 or 7 or something.
Right. 7 of us.
And we're going to go for a lot longer. But that could be some really cool content.
We have one person in my family that needs to be there for like 3 days, and we're gonna all go for 10.
Yeah. Safety third.
Right.
Rule number 1: always look cool. That stuff.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool chance to get some content. Cool chance to actually see the Arctic Truck guys in person, because we sent some gear over to them and test out some of this new everyday carry stuff, because it'll definitely be a kind of a moving and grooving trip. I imagine we'll try to pack as much as we can in.
Yeah.
So
I think that's most of the fun stuff in the next 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's kind of got us there.
And Jimmy Hyman at Green Top, we may have something for you. So
yeah, Jimmy, if you're listening, prepare for a phone call.
Or you may have already got it by the time you.
Yeah, that's true. By the time, there's pretty quick turnaround on this one. Probably going to have it by then, but still, yeah. Well, hey, as always, thank you for listening, and thanks to Blue Ridge Overland Gear for existing so we can do this.
So we can do this podcast.
Yeah. So let us know where you're going to be this year. You got any events or anything? And let us know what you think about the more carry-oriented stuff.
Yeah. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, please like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Please review us if you're listening on Spotify or some other podcast hosting. Yeah.
So if you've made it this long, you might have already reviewed it. If you've made it this long and you haven't reviewed it, I'm really disappointed in you.
Thanks as always, and we will catch you in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.